Want to know more about In Pit Lane? Well, you can support us via Patreon. Go to patreon.com/In Pit Lane. Remember to subscribe and like our YouTube channel. Check out the In Pit Lane website for lots of live streaming and all the latest news. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, email us at theshow@inpitlane.com, and to find out more about effective and affordable advertising for your company or products, email us at advertise@inpitlane.com. In Pit Lane, 21 years, and they haven't killed us yet. Yes, and before we go and talk about the Sandown 500, just a reminder of that situation. Patreon is the thing to do. Like I said last week, there's a whole new media landscape, and if you want to see shows like In Pit Lane, your favourite shows, and people say, oh, there's so many adverts on, oh, I'm sick to death of adverts, I don't watch commercial television because of the adverts. Guess what? The adverts pay for those programs. And if the adverts don't pay for them, someone else has got to. So that's why Patreon is a really important thing, because it allows people like you, the viewers of In Pit Lane, to support us. And for as little as $5 a month, that's, it's less than $1.25 a week. And as I said last week, if we get 100 people give us $5 a month, that goes an awful long way to helping us out and keeping us on the air, because obviously now that we've moved from Channel 31, there's a lot of advantages to going online. That's if indeed we are online. If you're trying to watch us on YouTube at the moment, I don't know whether we are online. But if you're watching us on Facebook, we're hoping we're there. Otherwise, we're in real trouble. I'm just talking to myself. But then that wouldn't be the first time. But yeah, so if you would like to support In Pit Lane, go to the In Pit Lane Patreon page. And it's not just supporting this show. I mean, it's more about creating a whole channel for local motorsport content. So not just this show, but other shows, karting shows, drag racing shows, speedway shows, a whole bunch of stuff that we've got planned coming up, as well as live streaming of major events, including, of course, our coverage of the annual Formula SAE Australasia Championships from Calder Park at the in the first weekend of December. That's coming up, so stay tuned and we'll give you more information on that. But this week, we won't be out live streaming the Sandown 500. In fact, God knows they won't let us anywhere near the joint. Somebody who might go near the joint, however, because she's got some insider knowledge and some trading there, is my co-host tonight. She is the host of the Helmets Off podcast. She is Lucy Slade. Lucy, welcome to In Pit Lane.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, tell me first of all, tell us about the Helmets Off podcast. What is it? Where do people find it? Let's get the plug out of the way first.
Oh, well, you can download it off your podcast app. So just search Helmets Off. It's a little purple icon on your iPhone, or you can search Helmets Off on Facebook or on Twitter.
And basically, it's a V8 supercar sort of centric program where you interview. What's the format of it?
I tried to do something a little different and really delve deep into the lives of drivers. So I talked to them about just their everyday life and their family, but as well as some highs and lows they've had in their career. So yeah, it's something that's a bit different and it's quite in depth, and I like that it's away from the cameras and it's talking to me who's someone that's not part of the whole circus. So there's definitely some interesting content that's come out of that.
And you are a journalism student. You're studying at Swinburne?
Yes, correct. Yeah. So I'm in my last semester of journalism, so I cannot wait to graduate.
Well, and once you do, you can join me on the unemployment line. Yay!
Yeah. Bachelor of Arts degrees get you
practice
so far.
After me. Would you like fries with that?
Yeah, exactly.
As you can see, sitting alongside of Lucy is not a ventriloquist. No, sitting alongside of Lucy is our special guest tonight. He's only 11 years old. He's about to go off to Italy. Italy, if you don't mind. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome young Australian karting star. Here's James Wharton. James, welcome to In Pit Lane.
Thank you.
Italy. Now, look, I'm just sort of, when I was your age, if I went to Rosebud, I considered it an absolute treat. I mean, have you travelled out before? Have you been to Italy before?
Yeah, I went to Italy last year for the same race meeting, but this year I'm going to Portugal.
Oh, to Portugal?
Yeah, and then I do the Mini Rock Cup in Italy.
Wow, that's two things. Did you like spicy chicken?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, this is good. So we'll talk to you a bit about that in a moment. But well, let's talk now about where you started in karting. How long have you been behind the wheel?
Well, I've been racing for 3 years, and my first kart was when I was 2. So I've been practicing since I was 2.
Since you were 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it helps to start early.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
Were you racing in your backyard or were you actually on a track?
I actually went on a high kart track.
Wow.
Yeah, so Dad was chasing me around, trying to make sure I don't crash.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was very fun.
What did your mum think of that?
I don't think she very come because she was too scared that I was going to crash.
Yeah, I think that's the role of mothers in general. I think is to be very scared and very nervous of what particularly their sons and daughters are doing behind the wheel of a racing car. Lucy, did you do any karting at all? Because as I said, there is a family. The name Slade might be familiar to a lot of people. You are the heir to the millionaire soft drink company, of course. No, you are in fact Tim Slade's sister. So obviously he was out in behind the wheel of karts. Did you get behind the wheel?
No, Bank of Dad definitely did not stretch that far to enter into any karting possibility for me. So no, I played netball and everything growing up while Tim was doing go-karting, and yeah, then Dad got lonely one day when Tim didn't need him as much anymore, so he started bringing me along, and yeah, the rest is history, I guess.
So would you have liked to? I mean, did you sit there and, did you have an internal loathing of your father that you will carry to your grave because, he didn't buy you he didn't let you race karts?
Well, if I'm being honest, when I was younger...
Please be honest.
I didn't really enjoy karting. I thought it was pretty boring, especially when Tim was doing it. But maybe when I got to about 16 or 17, I sort of thought, I really would have liked to do karting, but no, it was just too hard basket sort of thing, and I was happy to do my own thing. But looking back now, I'd love to have a crack, and I sort of wish I could have given the boys a run for their money when I was younger. And yeah, but I'm a terrible driver, so I don't know how well it would have gone.
But if you'd have been in karting, you wouldn't have been terrible.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the point. And Dad teaching me how to drive was one of the worst things ever. So, yeah, maybe some karting would have helped me.
What about all your friends at school? I mean, what school do you go to?
I go to Ivanhoe Grammar.
Ivanhoe Grammar. So what do the kids at school think about you? Because it's very different. Like when I was your age, and believe it or not, once upon a time, many decades ago, I was your age. Everybody loved cars. It was all we spoke about. It was the thing we all waited until we spoke of nothing else. It's different today, isn't it? I mean, the kids aren't really obsessed with cars like we used to be. No. So what's their reaction to you?
Well, they just go to their mates and say, I've got someone in my class that's a two-time Australian champion. So, it's very good for them.
So you're their show and tell. I mean, if they forget something, they can come in and say, what did you bring? And they go, we brought James. He's a two-time Australian champion.
Yeah.
Have you brought any of your massive trophies to school with you before?
Yeah, and they're all like, wow, that's a massive trophy for go-karts.
Yeah, and
that is the thing about trophies, isn't it? With go-karts, I mean, they're bigger than most of the competitors.
Yeah.
And is your school supportive of your racing career?
Yeah, they're very supportive. Like, they go out of their way to make sure I've got work to do while I'm away, and they're very good with what I do.
So how long will you be away on this trip?
I'll be away for 8 weeks. I'm going to 3 different countries.
Oh, you are so lucky.
Yeah.
So you're going to Portugal, Italy, and
Vegas for the Scusa Nationals.
I'm beginning to dislike you intensely now. What a thing for an 11-year-old. And of course, you won't be able to tell us what happened in Vegas, because what happens in Vegas, of course, stays in Vegas.
Yes.
So we're going to tell us first of all. We're going to talk about the Sandown 500. And are you a supercar fan at all?
Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping Jamie Whincup and Paul Dumbrell can get it done.
Well, I think they would have to start with probably the favourites, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But is that your long-term plan, or are you looking more overseas into something like Formula One?
Yeah, I'm trying to go to Formula Ford, then to Formula 4, and then do European racing in Formula 4.
And is that the pathway now going into Formula 4? Is that sort of de rigueur that you're going to go straight in? You are definitely going to Formula 4,
yeah.
Or might you sort of skip that and head off early, like someone like say Dan Ricciardo didn't do a lot of racing in Australia. He just went straight to Asia and then straight to Europe.
No, I'll try and go little by little to get to where I want to go.
And that's obviously Formula 1.
Yeah, I was hoping V8s.
You are having V8s?
Yes.
You also like NASCAR as well, you were saying
Yeah, NASCAR as well.
NASCAR pays better than V8s.
Yeah, it's not about the money, it's just about having fun, going out there and make sure you're going out there and representing who we are.
So who's your favourite NASCAR driver?
Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to follow someone, he's a pretty good person to follow. Did you watch the race on the weekend?
Yeah.
From Richmond, what did you think of the ambulance?
It was very different. Not many times that happens.
Well, that's for sure. I was just wondering whether they might sort of, because it added such entertainment to the race. I was just wondering if they do that on purpose now. I mean, to make it more entertaining, that every now and again a random slow vehicle just drives onto the track, and you've got to sort of guess which one it's going to be.
Yeah. I don't reckon it'll ever happen again. I reckon they would make sure.
I would think that they would be hoping that it would never happen again, that's for sure. I think the drivers certainly. Okay, well, we're going to preview the Sandown 500 in just a moment, but what we also want to do is, apart from Patreon, if you have a company that has products here on the motorsport products, and you would like to get your message across to the people watching In Pit Lane, people within the wonderful world of motorsport, then you can advertise here on In Pit Lane. We're looking for sponsors right now. We've got a couple of spots right open, and not only do you get to sponsor In Pit Lane, but you also get on the In Pit Lane website, inpitlane.com, where we've got lots of live streaming. Lots of people go there every month, and you can get there. I'm getting a wind up from Pete already, and I'm ignoring it completely because we're not on Channel 31, and we can go for as long as we damn well please. So that's another benefit of not being on Channel 31. We can actually talk about your products, and we can have more than one sponsor. So if you're interested in sponsorship of In Pit Lane and see what we might be able to do for you, please contact us. You can send us an email at advertise@inpitlane.com. We were hoping to have a graphic come up for that, but there is no graphic come up for that. It is one of those nights, people. So advertise at inpitlane.com, or track us down via the In Pit Lane Facebook page, which hopefully you're watching us on now, because I think our YouTube is stuffed. Okay, let's start talking about this weekend. Lucy, Sandown 500, is it still the... Well, I suppose you weren't around it. Oh, no, now, thank you. Now the graphic comes up. No, we've got a blank screen. This is where the graphic... Just imagine, if you're watching at home, just imagine the words advertise at In Pit Lane coming up right now. If you can see the words advertise at In Pit Lane, you've been drinking a lot more than I have, and I'm really, really jealous at this stage. Now, Lucy, Sandown 500, is it still the main attraction, or is it that it used to be? I mean, in terms of the lead up there. Now it comes up. Too little, too late. Story of my life. Let's try this again.
One more
Sandown
time.
500.
I think that it's like the semi-final of footy. It's like Bathurst is the grand final, and this is the lead-up. It's a bit of the test for a lot of teams with co-drivers and different strategies, and just a whole different ball game going into the Enduros. So I don't know if it's exactly what it used to be, because I probably wasn't around, like you said.
Yeah, thank you very much. Another person to make me feel old.
But I do think that it's definitely better than maybe Phillip Island. I think it was a really good choice to change it to Sandown. Even though Phillip Island's got the name and everything, it is designed for the MotoGPs, and I think even I remember being there once and I fell asleep for most of the race, woke up and no one had passed anyone. So, and that wasn't even an endurance event. So I think that, making the endurance in Sandown definitely will provide a bit more action. And
we are so lucky to have Sandown, aren't we? I mean, I imagine you've been to Sandown a lot, because it's really accessible, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just turn up and you've got a nice grandstand to sit in. You can catch a train if you want to.
Yeah.
But I think in the old days, I mean, because before it was a part of the championship, it was really special because you had a break in the season and suddenly it was the endurance and it was a separate thing altogether. And I think they're trying to recapture a lot of that with the retro round. I mean, so far from what you've seen, we haven't seen all of the liveries. We've seen most of them. There were some earlier in the night. I think Walkinshaw Racing unveiled one of their liveries, but I haven't seen it at this stage. But so far of the cars you've seen for the retro round, who's done it the best?
I think Nissan have done a good job at the moment. I liked theirs. I think it really got in touch with the old liveries on the car, and I think they tend to do those things quite well. They really go all out with their design.
I like the
and
fact
everything.
that they took the international part, because they don't have that really rich history that the other teams have to get. So they just said, well, look, we've probably done all we can do in terms of the old days of Group C. Let's now move to our very extensive international, and I think they look better. I think those cars, I said last week on the show, I think those cars of Todd and Rick Kelly look better in that BRE livery than they do normally. Yeah. I must say, I really love the BJR cars, of which your brother is driving one. He's in the blue car, which is a tribute to Norm Beach's Neptune racing days. But once again, neither you nor Tim would be old enough to recognise that. I'm just wondering, What does that say about the market that supercars are sort of appealing to? That, it's like, hey, come and relive the old days. I mean, that's, it's great for old farts like me, but for you guys, does that have any appeal at all?
I think it's good. It's something different, and it gives you a chance to learn, because we weren't alive when all that stuff was happening. So I think it's really cool to be able to see what cars were like back in the day, and it's nice to be able to relive it instead of having to read about it or something like that. So I think it's a really good idea. Do you?
Yeah, I think it's probably a good idea, because I get to see what the cars look like when they were like that, and I haven't seen them, so I'm hoping to see.
And of course, they've stolen this idea from NASCAR, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you seen any of the liveries coming up? Have you seen what's coming up and see which ones you like?
No, I haven't really seen any, to be honest.
There hasn't been a lot of publicity about it. This is one of the things I said online. I had 2 press releases from supercars this week, which is 2 more than I often get, but they were both about, Darryl Braithwaite and the Veronicas singing at after-race concerts.
I didn't even know that.
We've got a big race coming up on the weekend, and there's virtually no information at all. I mean, as someone doing a V8-centric or a supercar-centric podcast, do you get much feedback from the teams and from supercars themselves?
Not really so much, but I do a bit of work with the Supercars broadcast team. So I'm actually working with them in Sandown. But yeah, I definitely think
Give them my love.
I think they could do definitely a bit more to just get it out there. And I think it's so easy for Sandown to get lost amongst footy, because Melbourne's just such a footy town that they forget it's on. And just some advertising or just something to get it out there to get people to come would probably help the sport a lot.
Yes, it certainly would. What about, will you going this weekend?
No, I'll be watching on TV, because I've got the last round of Pro Tour, the Australian Pro Tour, this weekend.
Okay, so where's that?
Albury-Wodonga.
Is that a track you like?
Yeah, like I had my first podium there in Rotax, so I'm hoping to go and do the same.
So what category will you be running in?
I'll be running Mini-Max, which is Cadet 12 in Mini-Rock.
When you go overseas, what's the date of your first race? And do you know if there's any live stream? Because I know in Italy particularly, they stream a lot of the stuff. It's huge over there.
Yeah, in both world titles, Italy and Portugal, they'll live stream them on Facebook and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, certainly if we can get a link, we'll have that on inpitlane.com. There's no doubt about it. What's success? I mean, obviously you want to win, but when you come back, I mean, it's going to be very, very competitive.
Yeah.
What's your idea of success when you come back? What will you be happy with if you can come back and say, a podium or?
Yeah, I'm hoping for a top 3, like in all 4 races, I'm doing. So I'm hoping for a very good result.
Well, we wish you the very best of luck. It's an amazing experience for someone so young to be able to sort of go overseas like that and race against the world's best. I just can't imagine it. It's wonderful. Good luck with what's coming up over the next few weeks, and good luck for the rest of your career. And for now, thanks for joining us in Pit Lane, James.
Thank you.
And Lucy, hopefully we will see you back on a few more occasions before the end of this. So then we can talk perhaps closer to Bathurst about what's happening in the wonderful world of supercars, because you know a lot more about this. I'm persona non grata. I mean, and probably because of your association, I've got some bad news for you.
It just all gets fed to me. I don't have any choice.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Then you can regurgitate it back to us anytime you like.
Sure, no worries.
Thanks, Lucy. And a quick plug for the podcast. Where can people get it?
So search it on the podcast app on iTunes, so via your app store, or search Helmets Off on Facebook, and feel free to send me any messages or any advice or anyone you'd like me to interview or anything. I'm quite happy to. And as you said, you do have some in the bag ready, in the can ready to go. So. I do have an interesting one on Todd Hazelwood, which I interviewed him before his success in the Dunlop series. So it's quite good probably to release it now, looking back before the start of this season for him. Okay, well, we look forward to hearing that, but thanks for joining us tonight on In Pit Lane. Thank you. And thank you to you for joining us at In Pit Lane, wherever you're joining us. I'm going to press the button on this YouTube thing again. No, it still says waiting for In Pit Lane. We could be waiting for Godot, but it's waiting for In Pit Lane. So unless you're watching us on Facebook, we've got Pete's giving me a thumbs up, which either means yes, we're right, or
No, we're screwed. I don't know. Doesn't matter either way. Now, to take us out. Oh, it is working. Thank you very much. Now he finds out how to use the graphics machine. Thank you very much. Now, joining us, as we said the last couple of weeks, we love having live music, and we have live music on the program tonight. A new live music person. We're going to be joined tonight by Mark Gardner, and if you want to see Mark, he's playing all over Melbourne at the moment. There he is. He's playing every Wednesday in residence at the Whole Lot of Love Bar. That sounds like a place that you get something other than drinks. I don't know. James shouldn't go. Don't go there, James. The Whole Lot of Love Bar. Not for at least another 4 years. 524. Well, you know, I mean, some of us started beforehand. 524 Lygon Street, East Brunswick, and he's got live shows coming up with his band, The Broken Sweethearts, Sunday, 22nd of October at Veg Out. That's the festival. It's not a condition, it's a festival. Behind Veg Out behind Luna Park. Once again, this is, you know, memories of my teenage years. Vegging out behind Luna Park. But he's going to take it. Mark's going to take us out tonight with his song Forever Girl. We're going to see you next week on In Pit Lane, hopefully on both Facebook and YouTube, and wherever good online media is sold. We'll see you next week. Until then, here's Mark Gardner and Forever Girl. Good night.
Travel far and wide, not to the ocean past the great divide. I will miss you forever. You say 3 words of rhyme, classic do or die. I will love you forever. I will catch you if you fall. I will hold you in my arms. I will miss you forever. I will love you forever, forever, girl. If you climb to greater heights, you may fall too far. They say far too much. You may act out the words if you know a lullaby, then sing hallelujah. I will catch you if you fall. I will hold you in my arms. I will miss you forever. I will love you forever, forever. Promises are promises, so show me your true direction. Dream about the future and lend me your sweet affection. I will catch you if you fall. I will hold you in my arms. I will miss you forever. I will